great day in the morning to you all, and welcome back to Technical Difficulties. I'm your host, Cayenne Chris Conroy. And a particular welcome to those of you in the United States of America, where this November 22nd, 2018, we are celebrating Thanksgiving. The made-up holiday that commemorates the arrival of the Pilgrims, massacre of Indians, stuffing your face with food, getting ready for spending lots and lots of money tomorrow, blah, 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 all kinds of cynical statements that I've made in the past. Turns out if you do the same thing over and over again for many, many years, i.e. this podcast, it gets kind of predictable. So this year I thought I'd mix things up and try to focus on the concept of being thankful for things. What am I thankful for? I'm thankful, right off the top of my head, for my wonderful and lovely wife, Susan Grandies. I could give you a whole list of reasons why, but I'm going to give you the most recent one. Yesterday, on the 21st of November, 2018, it was our 23rd wedding anniversary. And I didn't find out about that until this morning. That's because I forgot. That's because she forgot. The only reason we knew it all was because she happened to be going through her history on Facebook, and a little note came up that said, "Oh, hey, we're celebrating our 21st anniversary this year, and we forgot to celebrate it, so we're celebrating it a day late." You might be curious as to why I'm thankful that we don't remember our wedding anniversary. It's because we have what's known in the business as a low-maintenance marriage. I don't know if you've ever had a low-maintenance marriage or a low-maintenance relationship, but let me tell you, it's pretty sweet. Holidays, anniversaries, Christmas, Valentine's Day, gift-giving, all pretty irrelevant for us. There's not much in the way of actual gift-giving around here. I mean, we see something on the internet or at a store and think, "Hey, I'd really like that. Can I get this?" And the other one goes, "Yeah, sure, go ahead, get that thing. You don't have to wait for your birthday or Christmas or anything. Just, yeah, sure." I mean, anniversaries roll around. It's like, "Hey, do you want to do something nice for that?" And we're like, "Nah, that sounds like way too much work." I mean, don't get me wrong, it's not all roses or anything, you know. I mean, we fight just like any other couple. It's just that our fights last about 10 minutes, and then we get really bored with it and go back to what we were doing before. I don't know if I've said this before, but she is the first relationship I ever had in my life. Like, I didn't date in high school, and then I moved out to Minneapolis, and I think I went on one date with one person, and that just didn't really work out, and then I started dating her immediately after that, and then a few years later we were married. So yeah, I've never been dumped. We never went on dates, but I've never been dumped. I've also never been fired from a job. I never had any great jobs. I was just being a job, and that would go on for a while, and no matter how much I screwed up, they didn't fire me because I didn't screw up too badly, and then I would leave. Oh yeah, and I passed my driver's exam on the first try. You know, that's a funny story that I don't know if I've ever told, but I'll tell it here real quick. I took my driver's exam, I believe, when I was 17. And they do that thing, you know, you drive, you show the instructor that you can drive, and they always fail you on the first try. I mean, that's a universal thing. Nobody ever passes on the first try. They always fail you because they want to make sure that your driving wasn't a fluke, so they make you come back and do it again. So I showed up totally prepared to fail, and I was second in line ahead of another kid about my age, a young guy. And he was in the car, and the instructor got in the car and said something to it. I could see this all from behind through the back windscreen. And the kid looked at him, and there was a long pause because he was very confused. And then he turned and looked straight ahead, and there was another long pause. And I think I know what it was that the instructor asked him to do. I think he said, "I'm going to ask you to learn to use your turn signals with your hands. Use your hand signals to pull out into traffic." And the kid didn't know what that meant. So he rolled down his window on the driver's side, stuck his arm out, and then just kind of waved it randomly, and then pulled out. What I might have mentioned at this point is that while he was doing that, an 80-year-old woman was crossing the street right in front of him, and he just went straight for her, just jackrabbited the car straight at her direction, and there was a screech of brakes when he stopped, and they paused while she continued crossing the street without noticing them. But this kid decided that rather than wait for her, he would pull around her in the two-lane street into the left lane, oncoming traffic, and nearly had a head-on collision with an oncoming delivery truck. Again, screech of brakes. And then he kind of pulled over back onto the right side, parked the car. The instructor got out, no expression on his face, walked over to my car, climbed in on the passenger side, and said, "Hello, my name is Mr. Whatever. I'll be your driving instructor. I'm going to ask you to pull out using your hand signals." He had the look of a man who'd seen it all. I mean, just a combat-scarred veteran. And I'd been watching this, and I had a massive adrenaline surge. And all of the nervousness that I had about driving, like, just disappeared. And I also had it in my head that even if I do fail, it doesn't matter because I'm going to look great. And I guess I did, because I did my driver's course thing just around a neighborhood, and then I pulled over and parked, but I didn't quite nail the parallel park. And he said, you know what? You did so well. I'm going to let you do that parallel park again, and we'll see how you do. And I nailed it on the second try, and he signed my paper and said, congratulations, you're a driver. So yeah, I passed my driver's exam on the first try. I've never been fired from a job, and I've been married for 23 years in a good low-maintenance relationship. And oh yeah, one more thing, and that is back in the 1990s, after we got married, Sue said, you know what, I have a high-stress job, and you just want to be an artist. Why don't you stay home and take care of stuff? And I did, and I have ever since, and so I haven't had an actual job like that I had to leave the house to go do since 1996. The point I'm getting at is that this time of year I'm often very, very thankful for my life. My very, very charmed life. I mean, it's not been super spectacular. I'm not a billionaire or anything, and everything I've tried to do creatively has always been creatively successful, but financially successful, no, not at all, not even a little bit. But it doesn't really matter in my case because everything's great. I'm very happy about the way my life turned out so far. I mean, physical and mental health chronic issues notwithstanding, I'm incredibly grateful. And that is something I have to remind myself all the time. I barely have white people problems. In spite of that, I often spend a lot of my time being deeply unhappy until I stop and realize that my life is good. I've done well. And I should be grateful for that. And I am. And I try to be as much as possible. And I don't really need a holiday to remind me of this, especially one where it's kind of like almost, de rigueur, some it's cliched forced. What are we thankful for? I'm thankful a lot, but I have to remind myself to be thankful because it's really easy to lapse into the kind of, pampered sort of like, oh, my life's not perfect. I'm mad, sad, miserable. Why me? So I always use this holiday to remind myself that I really need to show a lot of gratitude. And I do. And I'm very grateful also to you, the audience, whether you're new or whether you've been here from the very beginning. Thank you so much for listening. I'm sorry I am somewhat lax on publishing the show. I'm somewhat lax on answering email, very lax on answering email. But I'm thankful to all of you for being the audience to all of this. It's just been a lot of fun doing this show, and knowing that there's people out there appreciating this show and enjoying it is great. And thanks. So what am I doing for Thanksgiving? Well, I'm doing this, actually. Any plans we had for Thanksgiving kind of fell through, so we're just kind of home. And not doing much of anything, really. But I figured I'm going to do a show this week. And had I not committed to doing the 5 shows this week, in addition to doing the Christmas shows, I wouldn't have done one today because it's like, well, Thanksgiving, I'm going to take the day off. But here I am working on a holiday. So you should be thankful. No, you shouldn't. You shouldn't really be thankful. You should be thankful for what you have in your life. You should be thankful for the things that are important to you and the things that make you happy. And you know what? And just be thankful, hopefully, that you'll have the strength to let go of all the other crap that is weighing you down. That sounds easy, I know. It's not easy, I know. So there it is. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody, whether you're an American or not. And I will be back again tomorrow with a brand new show. Thanks so much for listening, and see you in 12 to 24 hours or so. All right, bye!